Okay. So I'm full on diet culture, by the time I'm pretty much 10, 11 years old. And, again, when I went into middle school, there was another group of boys that would call me fat and they would call me whaler. And I would respond the exact same way that I did with the boys in fifth grade. I would go after them and try to beat the shit out of them. That
Mhm.
was the way that I was going to handle it. And I never, as I was reliving these stories in my head, I was like, I don't, I don't feel like I'm fat. Like, okay, whatever. But this is in late 80s, early 90s. Fat then is very different than what is considered fat now, right? So, but my way of dealing with it was absolute lash out, and I know that that just fed their excitement um to, whatever, provoke me.
Sure, because that's just how it's going to be in middle school anyway. You've got all the other goofiness of middle school
So
going
true.
on,
So
and
true.
you've already got it in your head,
Yeah.
regardless of how you visually see yourself. At this point, you have it in your head that you're fat
Oh yeah,
because
body dysmorphia started for me at a very young age.
skinny people don't go on diets.
Right. Yeah, yeah, you're right. So then that morphed into around the age of 15 in high school. And we had this thing in high school called slam books, right? And this would be like today's version of social media bullying, where, your group of so called friends would put together this slam book and it would be like, who has the worst acne? Who has the ugliest hair? Who's the fattest? Well, Jonna came in as the fattest,
Okay,
right?
so this slam book was amongst your friends about your friends, not
Really,
not
really
about other
just,
people.
yeah, there were some other people in it too. And mind you, this is a lot of decades ago, so I don't remember all of the
Sure, of
details, but
course.
that is something that I remember. And so what happened at 15 is I found a 3-day diet. Okay. And basically it was, cottage cheese, an apple, tuna, and like a half a scoop of ice cream. Okay. That was like the little, okay. So I started this diet and I really enjoyed body movement. I've always been into athletics. And so, I started doing like an aerobics show on Fox Belad. And I would do this aerobics show and I got really into Cindy Crawford workout and the Thigh Master and all the things, right, that Gen X got into. And I lost about 30 pounds doing that 3-day diet for a long time, right? But what happened is I started restricting even outside of those of that perimeter of what you were allotted per day. And obviously noticed, when you're 15 and you lose 30 pounds, that's a big deal. A really big deal. And I really liked it. And so unfortunately, what happens when you participate in an extreme calorie deficit eating for well over a year, okay, um, you at some point are going to get hungry again, and you're not going to want to diet for the rest of your life. And so I started eating food again, just a normal range of food, but I always had food issues. Okay. So I'm not going to pretend like I didn't have food issues. I would do this starve, 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 eat, and then starve, 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 eat. But I gained basically most of it back by my senior year. And